Plus, speaking of surprise appearances, did the Biden campaign's decision to put Robert De Niro at court land, or was it a flop? Hour of Donald Trump's trial, President Biden's campaign shifts its strategy and turns to a good fella for help. Oscar-winning actor Robert De Niro appearing at a news conference outside of that Manhattan courthouse where closing arguments were underway in the hush-money trial of Donald Trump. Now, De Niro minced no words, slamming Trump as a clown and issuing this chilling warning.
It's really crazy. If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted. And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
Did they have to bring De Niro to get the attention they wanted?
Look, I think Robert De Niro is probably atoning for all the mafia guys that he played in the movies by actually standing up for the rule of law today, and I was kind of happy to see that.
For weeks now, President Biden has barely had anything to say about Donald Trump facing criminal charges. His campaign taking his lead and staying quiet for the most part. Well, today, that all changed. The Biden campaign holding a press conference right outside the courthouse featuring Robert De Niro. And he wasn't alone. He was flanked by two police officers who helped defend the Capitol on January 6th, Harry Dunn and Michael Fanone. Check this out.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. That's the tyrant he's telling us he'll be. And believe me, he means it.
Well, how was De Niro received? Well, things got ugly as he clashed with Trump supporters when he was leaving, and a classic New York dust-up full of curses and insults. Trump's son making sure to give his opinion as well. Here's Don Jr.
This is a political persecution. That was evidenced today by the Biden campaign themselves holding a rally here. They bring in Robert De Niro.
But you also had Republicans having rallies outside the courthouse as well.
Oh, I'll take the opposite view on this. I think it was an unforced error by the Biden campaign, frankly. They took Robert De Niro and turned him into Sideshow Bob out there with all of the New York's finest that have been gathering every day of this campaign. At some point, and you saw it with Donald Jr.'s talking of political persecution, the Trump message is going to be, whether there's an acquittal, a hung jury, or there's a conviction, that this was nothing but politics. The Biden campaign kept out of it for 20 days of the 21 days this trial's been going on. And at the last second they come in, I view that as weakness, that they are at some point trying to figure out how they can turn their ship around. And so they threw Robert De Niro out in the street.
I think that's a good point. I mean, why get involved at the last minute when you didn't use your campaign to say anything up until this point?
You mean pre-verdict, really?
Correct. Okay. With that point in mind, though, strategically, if I'm going to send someone to New York to comment on this from the political perspective, I'm looking at the data and figuring out who are the best representatives to reach the groups that I'm struggling with the most. Someone who's younger, maybe someone of color to sort of articulate that message of character. If I were a Democrat, not an 80, 81-year-old white guy, I think Biden is okay with that group. He probably should have more surrogates out that sort of represent the groups that he's struggling with most.
Well, you said weakness, but it is also desperation. President Biden has been behind in almost every single poll that there has been this cycle. The Trump campaign and Trump surrogates are saying this is proof that this is weaponization of the Justice Department. The Trump campaign has been saying that for months and months anyway, something that the Biden campaign was fearful of playing into. So why not hit back is their response now, maybe a little too little, maybe too late. But the fact that it's not going to change the argument at all from the Trump campaign. So why not play at the same level?
Go! The New York State.
What are you telling me?
Those two traitors behind you.
Excuse me?
Those two traitors behind you.
They lied under oath?
That's right.
What are you saying?
They're traitors.
They're traitors. I don't know. I don't even know how to deal with you, my friend. I don't even know how to deal with you. They stood there, they didn't have to. And there were other ones in there who probably were in with them a little bit too, and they found a way to get around. Not these guys. They stood there and fought for us, for you. For you.
Well, they weren't fighting for me.
No, they fought for you, buddy. You're able to stand right here now.
Standing behind him, Michael Fanone, Harry Dunn, two Capitol Police officers, heroes, really, on January 6th.
Well, this was a bad idea. This entire thing was not a great idea. I get wanting to take advantage of cameras at this spectacle, but this had the impromptu feeling that most Trump rallies have, like sort of all over the place. We don't know where it's going. We don't know who's showing up. It could be Kid Rock or a cabinet member. You never know. And that's what happened here. You had an actor who's obviously very angry at Trump, but I don't know why his opinion would matter more than someone else. And then you have these two heroes who almost gave their lives on January 6th at the insurrection. It was a mismatch and a mixed message. And now this actor is in a position to have to defend these police officers. I just didn't get it. And like I said, Robert De Niro's angry at Donald Trump. He's not a victim of Donald Trump's, right? He's going to be fine.
The first presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump will be on CNN and is fast approaching, set to be held the evening of June 27th. And with that in mind, the Biden campaign is getting some help ahead of time from January 6th police officers. Some of the very officers who defended the U.S. Capitol against the rioters will be mobilizing now in swing states to talk about what they see as Donald Trump's threat to democracy in 2024.
That if I can tell his story a million times, he will. And if I can do that, I'll just be doing my part to save democracy. Now, whether that message breaks through amid all of the other issues that voters are looking at this election, I think remains to be seen. But when you talk to the president's advisors, they really do believe that this is a resonant issue. And I think their challenge is bringing it from issues of democracy in the abstract and putting something concrete behind it. And that's what these officers will do by relaying their own experiences in the Capitol on January 6th.
I just wonder about the narrative that suggests that Robert De Niro's presence next to two officers from the January 6th Capitol events, that says and confirms political viewpoints or politicization, of the Justice Department. None of them are a part of it at all any longer. So I fail to understand that connection.